Good evening, class.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
Prof.
Good evening. Um, I think group 4 and 5 are the ones supposed to be taught by Professor Fan. So I'm just trying to hold on my for this weekend, maybe probably maybe next week. I don't know, maybe by next week he will be back. But whatever I'm trying to do is just to hold on until he comes back, and then he will take care of the class. So today I'll be talking about some of the few things that um uh, are relevant for the program. But the way I teach is that I try to explain the concepts in this area of strategy for business analytics using a case study. So I have to set the premise of the case so that when I'm talking about when we are discussing the different management concepts, we can relate it with that one. So bear with me. You are not tied to do a capstone project like this, but I would just like to give you some background on one of the firms I'll be using as some of the case studies in our session today. So you are welcome to Strategy for Business Analytics. Our objective today is to get to understand how to analyze the business environment. That means that the external environment of the business and the internal environment of a business. And we'll learn about certain tools that can help us to do so. So that was our core focus of trying to do this today. Okay. So as I said, I based my teaching on a case. So I introduce the case, then to become the premise of some of our discussions. Okay. I can see that we have about 15 students here. I'm even wondering whether these are all the students or because of the different sessions that are going on. Or 21 students now. Okay. 20 students now. What are different sessions that are going? Some of you tend to join different groups so that I can be able to catch up. Okay, can we have one person volunteer to do some of the reading with me? So you start. We're going to read this case and we'll start teaching. So anybody would like to volunteer? Like all of you are quiet. Okay, Stephen,
Prof.
I hope
Okay,
your mic is clear. So you can start by reading what you see.
okay. The organization, Ghana Fresh Limited. Ghana Fresh, Ghana Fresh is a mid-sized family-owned agribusiness based in the eastern region of Ghana, specializing in exporting pineapples and mangoes. Led by the founder, Ekia Mensah, the company operates in highly competitive global supply chain where quality, consistency, and cost control are paramount to survival and growth. The core challenge: value leakage and decision uncertainty. Despite growing sales in volume, Ghana Fresh faces three critical interlinked challenges that erode profitability and threaten long-term competitive advantage. 1. High post-harvest losses into brackets 20 to 30%. A significant portion of harvested fruits is lost or downgraded due to spoilage between the field and the ports. This massive value leakage is caused by unpredictable harvest timing, delays in field to pack house transfer, and inconsistencies in the cold chain. This is a massive cost of delays into brackets COD for the business. 2. Unpredictable and rising logistics costs. The cost of refrigerated shipping and overland transport is highly variable. Without predictable costs, Ekia Mensah struggles to negotiate firm, profitable forward contracts with major European retail buyers, thus increasing business risks. 3. Untapped local market potential. The company has a growing but inefficient local packaged product line into brackets juices and dried fruits. Decisions regarding product mix and inventory are currently based on intuition, leading to high packaged product inventory waste into brackets, stockouts or excess inventory, and inconsistent profits. Your mission, the 12-month analytics strategy roadmap. Your mission is to develop a 12-month analytics strategy and implementation roadmap that strategically applies the course framework to transition Ghana fresh from relying on intuition and historical reports to making predictive and data-driven decisions. The strategy must demonstrate how a focused investment will deliver a measurable economic value creation into brackets EVC, primarily by decreasing costs into brackets, reducing losses or waste, and increasing willingness to pay into brackets WTP into brackets, improving the quality and reliability.
Thank you very much. So this is the premise of our case. And throughout the time that we do the sessions, we look at what we can be able to do, learn from them. So for example, in this first session, we are looking at integrated assessment, how the company can analyze its environment. And then we try to do a small in-class exercise to you to look at that particular assessment. So that's what we'll be learning today. So I'm going straight to that. This is a handbook that will be available from next week going for the students who are doing strategy for business analytics and are being taught by me, because I developed this one over time to help explain many of these concepts and to make it more practical in teaching the course. Because most of the one that I found that we were using last year, that's the one that we were using in FIFA. Quite an examples are more of firms which are not Ghanaian. So, and it's more on the management part. The data part is not very evident. So sometimes the students find it difficult to relate what we are doing with the data side. So that's why we try to put this together. Okay, so today we'll look at PESTEL, a number of assessment tools. One of them is to look at how to assess external forces and also to assess internal forces within a firm. Good. The first one for the external competitive environment is where the company is operating in. We want to look at macro environment and the industry competition. So the first one to look at macro environment is what we call the PESTEL framework. The PESTEL is a very popular tool. Some of you may have heard about it when you're even doing your undergrad course. And it's a tool that helps us to be able to organize the opportunities and threats organization face within the context in which they work in. So you see that the PESTEL is just an acronym. So it's political, economic, sociocultural, technological, environmental, and then legal. So that's what makes it the PESTEL framework. So it's not anything straight. Political, and then economic, sociocultural, technological, environmental, and then legal. Most of these dimensions are things that you are conversant with in your daily life, but maybe you have not looked at it in the lens in which we talk about in terms of business. The first one being political includes the role of governments, political stability, trade policies, taxes, and government funding priorities. So technically, a political party or a government can put in certain laws or a particular development agenda that can kind of have an effect on the opportunities for businesses to operate in the country. Look at this whole Make America Great Again that Trump is pushing. And it has led to changing of tariffs, which tend to position America in a particular way. Hence, it even affects how the immigration issues. There are times they're saying that if you are an immigrant on a particular type HB1 visa, so you should be in the country before a particular time. Otherwise, the company that is hiring you have to pay about £100,000 to get you back into the country, because your visa would have become nullified, and now you have to get into the country through that visa. You have to pay $100,000. So you could realize that sometimes the political context can also have affects the opportunities of companies. When there's political instability, it also affects how companies will operate. So if you talk about the fact that GH Fresh, it relies on certain policy that government puts in the environment. For example, a stable government allows continued development of infrastructure, which means that the roads infrastructure will be built, and when the food infrastructure is built, the cost of moving produce from eastern region to maybe western region or Greater Accra region to the harbor to export to the UK and other parts of the Europe will be cheaper. But when there's no stability, that means we may even need a police, a military convoy to be able to just move your produce if you still want to operate in such an era. In some countries, I think I've seen it on social media before, where certain produce are being moved and the military is protecting it. I think Mali and other countries, I've seen something, even I think Cameroon, I've seen some things like that before, where if company resources are being moved from one place to the other, sometimes you need a police, a military escort because of the fact that there's unrest in the country. The same government is the one who is supposed to put subsidies. And as, for example, what kind of taxes would they would they make available at the port so that exports and or imports will be relatively cheaper or will have some certain subsidies that encourage local businesses to do more business in a particular way. For example, if a government prioritizes agricultural subsidies for cocoa over pineapples, that means that a company like GH Fresh, which is into pineapple, will not get that benefit, and it may have to consider maybe diversifying to cocoa in the future. So anything you do in the political context can also influence the companies operating that environment. Somebody will ask that about Prof. You are talking about political, and you are talking about taxes and stuff. Yeah, the government is the one that makes the policies. So even in reading their budget, they have certain agendas. They may even say that for this particular time, we are allowing you to have duty free on certain things. And that duty free means that at the end of the day, we are waiving on certain taxes on certain products. That can actually change the dynamics of a company if it is in line within the company's business industry or the company's trading line or the type of engagement that it has. If those taxes are waived off, then that company can benefit from it. Economic context. Please, if you have any question, you can stop me because I'm having a discussion with you. So you can always, if you have an example you want to share, you can always raise your hand and I can allow you to do so. So economic context involves factors such as interest rates, inflation, exchange rates, economic growth, and consumer disposable income. I think we have seen situations in which our Ghana Statistical Service comes to tell you the month on month inflation, and they even tell you which products are actually hiking our inflation in the country, whether it is the importing of rice or in the importing of certain types of vegetables or certain types of products, or has an effect on our inflation. And if that is then drawn to the attention of government can then say that because of this, I want to ban the importation of this for some time. It has happened, I think, previously in the agricultural sector where the minister had to ban the importation of was it rice or something like that for some time to be able to create room for local businesses to also thrive. So these things can happen in a country in which firms like GH Fresh operates. Economic context can also deal with issues that has to do with exchange rates. Look at what is happening to the dollar for the last, should I say, about a year ago, what we're going to as the dollar was hiking to about 17. It was affecting companies. And I remember government was putting a policy concerning how much you can withdraw at the counter and what quantity you can withdraw in a day, and you can even travel with. Currently, I think as of last week, they have increased it to 5%. That if you have money if you get money through transfer into your account and you want to withdraw it, you will pay 5%. But if it is you come to put your own cash there in dollar into the bank, that one is you're not going to be charged for it. And what is interesting that what government has done is has framed the coin, because it means that Richard Watson, should go to town, go and buy, the dollar is coming down, go and buy dollars and come and put it in my account. So because if I bring in cash and I'm withdrawing, there's no charge over it. So I was asking myself that why would government want to do that? Because you say you are charging on the one which is transfer, which I understand. But the one which is cash that you are saying you're not charging, what technically what you are doing is that you are creating a potential room for a dollar-based cash economy in which people will buy dollars and try to save it in the bank. And if you're not very careful, so that when it goes higher, they may either come to withdraw that cash and then may use it. I don't know the wisdom about what government is. Maybe they have seen something, or they are expecting is it IMF money, so they can take such risk. I don't know. If anybody knows, you can share. You can share your view on what you think government is doing by this new policy. Okay, so for GH Fresh, a weak Ghanaian cedi is an opportunity for export. So if the Ghanaian cedi is weak, it's better you making Ghanaian goods cheaper abroad. So you can better you export. But if it's a threat for imports, because if you need imports, you are importing cars like tractors and equipment to come and use, it may cost you more. So I remember that in the previous government, they said that if you're importing anything that's going to be used on a farm, agricultural equipment, they tend to waive off or some of the taxes from it. So I remember somebody was telling me that if you are importing a car like a Tacoma and those big pickups, people used to declare they are going to use for farming. So they will end up even paying very subsidized duty on it as compared to somebody bringing a luxury car like Highlander or Mercedes-Benz E-Series or something like that. So what then happens is that you pay more, you pay full duty for the luxury car, but if you are bringing those big pickups, which can carry produce at the bucket behind, then it's seen as you are going to use it for farming and such agricultural activities. So we will support you by either reducing the taxes or removing it. I don't know whether anybody knew about that, but I was told at the place, like when I was dealing with some of my friends who work at the ports. I have students who have people who will research on their main research is on the Ghana export and import system. So when you ask them, that's what they tell you. Does anybody know about that? That they kind of reduce the taxes or did something for those who are bringing those cars that are supposed to be used for agricultural activities. That nobody knows about that.
Oh, bro, I never heard of anything like that.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, Wallace, please continue.
Maybe I've not been following, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yes, sir. There's a rate which is taken off. So once it's for commercial purpose, you have a fee to pay. If it's for private purpose, you have a fee to pay. But it's not across board.
okay.
You have to come to the ministry for a cheat
Okay.
to be signed for you to get that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then that makes it better. So, hey, we sign for you. Please do work there.
Yes, please.
You work at you work at Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So at least you have told us the truth there. For GH Fresh, a weaker Ghanaian cedi is an opportunity for export, but a threat for import because then you have to, when you're importing, it may cost more to buy those equipment. And sometimes when you have a general economic turn down in Europe, Ghana's fresh main export markets, that's where Ghana's fresh export go there, means that Ghana's fresh product is a premium fresh food that they are sending to the UK and then other parts of Europe. If you don't take care and there's an economic downturn, that means that people will not be spending more on premium products. They'll not be spending. There'll be very few slack resources to spend around. So they may end up spending their money on what is affordable, and your premium product that is there then becomes face a threat of revenue and profitability. It costs you that much to ship it to Europe, but because of the economic turn down, people are preferring to buy their local produce, which is not expensive. They're not going for ethically sensitive food anymore or the premium fresh food. They'll just buy the normal ones and drink the one that has GMO and other things inside. They'll just buy that one and just drink it. Just because at the end of the day, there's an economic downturn. So an economic context can also influence the choices of firms and affect their strategy formulation. Emmanuel, please, you can go ahead.
Prof, just by the way, when
Okay.
you were talking about fruits that go to Europe,
Yes,
I'm
please.
just wondering, the pineapple they send to Europe, is it the one that we see on the Agbogblosi market, or we send them the good ones and we eat the?
The best person to ask is Blue Skies. Blue Skies is a premium product. They process some of them and they sell it to Europe and sell within the sell to some through some companies in some of the shops. So either they will sell another brand name or they'll sell within their own brand name in some of the UK shops. But it's a premium product. So
Because
if
it
it
got me thinking, when you go to our market, our fruits are not that nice. But if these guys are exporting this stuff, are they the same as what we get here or different premium? Like,
oh yeah, I understand you. If you say your fruits are not that nice, I understand that part, but I will not take it wholly. There are now Ghanaian companies that actually do better. For example, there is this company that they sell fresh products. Is it Ghana House or something? I've forgotten. Farmer
yeah,
House.
I've seen them. I've
Yeah.
seen them. Yeah.
There are very, very different version of these kind of companies now.
Uh,
And they have connected themselves with certain direct farms. So the products are brought straight from the farm to the shop. So you are more likely, for example, if you want yam, they'll tell you that maybe come every Thursday morning. That's when they bring the things from the shop. If you want onions or something, they'll tell you a particular time. Or you can even WhatsApp and find out whether they have received some at a particular branch. So they have then done a good, so, established a supply chain which is networked with other farmers on actual farms. So they go and do the due diligence and then they buy straight from the farm. So they're giving value to the farmers and they're also bringing straight to the shop instead of taking to the market. So you can get good market prices, but in a better better packaging and much more healthier. I remember I was buying banana the other time and they told me that banana is just one day to expire. So they're reducing the price. And I was wondering, so another person on the street who's just continue selling the banana till it actually spoils. But and yeah, and you will not even consider reducing it. Why? Because of the fact that she may be going through about 3 middlemen before she gets the banana. But these people can afford to take that decision. In fact, the person I was paying to didn't take the decision. I was then, and one of the senior officers entered the shop and said that, "Oh, you asked for banana, yes." And he said, "Look at the condition. Okay, please, we are writing this number, this percentage off for you." So these things can happen because of the fact that and the economic system and other parts of the PESTEL framework tend to have an influence on the way companies see themselves and how they operate and they formulate their strategies. Number three, sociocultural context. This covers societal values, cultural attitude, demographics. We are getting, as you just mentioned, there are quite a number. You can have, we are conscious about our products. You say our food doesn't look nice. So people have got values and have got preferences. There's a whole increasing demand, global demand for organic, health-focused foods, and people even want to know whether they can trace that this food that is buying, this coffee is buying, this pineapple is free from child labor now becoming child labor or all kinds of and it's also you can track the supply chain, you can trace the supply chain to see that there's no evidence of child labor. Number two, the quality levels of the pineapple meets the quality level that is suspected, and even the water in growing the pineapple, was it grown in a farm that was in a good place? I remember one mother telling me a story that somewhere in Haju, where the transitions what's the name, transitions funeral home is, there's a river that passes there, and that river goes to another place that it actually feeds into a whole cabbage and I think lettuce farm. But the water that is actually passing through to go there, sometimes allegedly there are waste products or water that is flashed from the what's the name, the morgue, from from the cemetery, that prestigious cemetery that is there. So that the cemetery is like a funeral home. When the funeral home allegedly watches bodies and the water is coming out, it goes into partly goes into the gutter, which ends up into the river or something. The river that is passing, there's a river there, and that river,
hey,
follow it out allegedly, because I've seen where the cabbage farmers, according to them, according to what the person was saying, he saw that the water also goes there, so he stopped buying cabbage from that place. I'm just saying, yes, I say allegedly. Allegedly. So, please, I beg you, it's allegedly. I don't know how true it is. So, the most important thing will be that maybe, and I think that's come into the news before, whether it has been covered by Joy FM or something like that, or somebody has covered such a thing before, where they mentioned cabbage garden near funeral home. So they are actually, let me just see if I can add Ghana. I'm trying to Google to see whether the thing is true. Okay. Okay. But that's what we are saying. I don't know how true it is. How true it is. Okay. So people are saying, but there are some gardens and stuff and food stuff or vegetable garden in down the stream. Anyway, but what even if it's the vegetable garden is not even there, there'll be farms that are maybe down the stream, and we may not know what you see when the river is coming. We don't know where the water has passed through. So sometimes these people talk about this kind of stuff. They may know what they are saying anyway. So that's a little bit. I mean, I don't have I don't have any particular evidence for this, but there are things that people talk about and it's so when you have a thing like this, those ethically conscious individuals will not like to eat from a place like that. They will be concerned about eating from their meals from such a particular shop or such a particular place. So this is a little that I may have said, but I don't know how true it is. Okay. So please don't go and quote me anywhere. I'm going to go to me anyway. So let's continue. Good. So and in other products like coffee, all these are becoming important. Ethical coffee that you are paying the farmers what they are supposed to be paid for, and there's fairness in the pay, the fairness in treating them and giving them a decent and dignified job. So if the job conditions are not good, people will not want to be associated with the product. So sociocultural context play a very key role in this era. Okay. So in Ghana, Ghanaians consumers show a rising preference for locally packaged or non-sugary drinks. It creates an opportunity for Ghana Fresh to introduce some of their new juice into the country, like fresh juice into, because they are doing a lot of exports. So you can consider responding to that growing niche group in Ghana. And then there is also opportunity. We read in the list that there's opportunity in Ghana for dried fruits line, which Ghana Fresh has not started, but they can do dried fruit too. And so I know dried fruit are so quite in the amount in the US, but in the UK, but I don't know Ghana. I'm not seeing that much about here. People got the fruit sometimes are available to us. We are used to maybe taking the fruit in its wholesome form. Yes, Wallace, please continue. Or your hand is gone now. Okay.
Yes, sir. Those activities are being done in Ghana. However, what they export is not what we take in here.
Okay.
So that is being done.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving us that feedback. That's good. Okay. Let's continue. Now, the technological context has to do with the fact that in this era of a lot of research and development, new technologies are coming up, and new technologies tend to also open opportunities for companies. Some companies are now competing by technology. Others are also now using technology to streamline or optimize their value chain. So, for example, GH Fresh can consider bringing Internet of Things devices, or when you say Internet of Things devices, you're talking about technologies that are internet ready or they are internet aware. So they leverage the internet to be able to exchange data and exchange information to be and communicate certain type of information in order to provide a service. So another internet, and a very simple way to look at Internet of Things is like you having a fridge that can order your food for you or your milk for you when the milk has actually gone down. So it's aware by the weight of the milk that or the expiry date of the milk as you scan it before going into the fridge that the time is getting up. So and he knows you shop on Amazon. You have put your Amazon details in it. It will go to Amazon and trigger or either it will bring you a reminder before because of the way your settings, or to send a reminder to the person who has been delivering or supplying you the milk, so that the next morning you bring you milk. Because as you drank and put the empty half of the bottle in, you knew that in 3 days time your milk will finish. Another one is like those air conditioners that before you get home you can use your remote control while sitting in the car, send it a message and it will come on, so to cool your house before you even enter. Some of them even do with their cars to cool it. But why is it that possible? Because this device that the air conditioning is also on the internet or is connected to a network somehow, so it can talk to you and you can talk to it. It happens with even our gates now, devices that can receive text messages or can connect to the internet, and you can able to trigger your gate to open in case somebody presses a bell and you're not there. Your gate to open, the person will enter, you close it. And because there's CCTV too, which is connected to the internet, you can also see. So you have got technology that can do like those things for us now. So in the soil moisture sensor, the sensors are put in the farm so they can take can be able to tell whether the soil is that moist or it is very dry, so that it can trigger information to you, or it can trigger a sprinkler to start watering, or to trigger information to you, and then you deploy a drone that carrying water to go and water. Or the drone can also take a surveillance in the morning and tell you whether your boundaries are safe. I know, like for example, you have a farm that you go a certain type of boundaries all around, and you can't be able to physically go there and check. So your drone can take a surveillance over the place, let you know whether there's been intrusion, whether there's been a break into your boundary, and then do it to do something about. Drones can also do more. Now I've seen drones that are being used to distribute pesticides on a farm before. So they are flying above and they are filling them with pesticides. There's a camera, and as it's doing the work, it's navigating and then showing you what it has done so far. So but if you want to do this, that means that you need reliable internet or network coverage. If that is poor in the EC region or that region you are doing it, that means the deployment of such a system in the real time is going to be very difficult. You cannot be able to do so. So technology can be of benefit to us or can be a challenge to us. Being of benefit is that if you have built the infrastructure for us to write new technologies on it, and if it's not, then we are going to have a trouble. I know about I don't know if you heard about it. A tractor service that works like Uber and can hire the tractor to come and use it on your farm. So you go an app and then you download the app and then you book the tractor, and the tractor can come to your farm and come and work, and you pay for it and it goes back. Just like how you are doing one, but we are using in this scenario, farmers are being empowered by using location and location and ride sharing software to be able to share resources like just as basic as a tractor or a farming implement. So you book on it online and then it is given to you. You know, in Ghana, we are actually doing that. The Masons go and borrow a wheelbarrow and for a day. They hide a wheelbarrow from people for a day, head pan, a shovel, and then a spade and other things, and then go and use it. And after that, they bring it. Or they can hide for a week. Even scaffolding, they can hide. So these are all resources. So in this case, what we are doing is that these farm implements that we may need, we have now put them on online platform, and then you can book for them and use it. And then you pay for it. So you book for them if you want it to be delivered to you, or you go and pick it up. If it's a tractor, to be driven to your place and to do the work. And after that, you pay for it for it to go. So that's a very interesting way of leveraging internet technology to share resources which are scarce in the farming for farmers within the community. Now, environmental or ecological context has to do with issues that point out that we need to address pollution. We need to address sustainability of of the environment so that it doesn't affect the farms. So what then happens? Extreme weather events due to climate change can directly pose a threat to crop yields and reliability. However, European Union, where GH Fresh is going to export this thing to, have a strict adherence to sustainable sourcing, so that wherever you source, you buy from, you have less impact on the environment. Wherever you are sourcing your produce, your fresh tomatoes or your fresh pineapples from, it should have less impact on the environment. Number two, there should be reduced carbon footprint. What do they mean by that? So a carbon footprint happens when we burn fuel, and like we are driving our cars, we are burning fuel, and that's and in every fuel emits an amount of carbon. I'm talking about fuel driven cars, not the electric cars that we have now. Fuel driven cars have an amount of power that they consume, fuel they consume, and that burns. So what we can just hold on now, I'm being called from the department. Okay. So what then you realize is that um because what the European Union has into motion, they want to make sure that how much carbon, how sustainable are your processes, reducing the carbon footprint. So you can just say a company like JFA can say that, okay, instead of using all our vehicles to be to in our company being fuel driven by petrol, we have now moved about 30% of our fleet to electric. That reduces the carbon footprint. Another thing they can also do is that, the abobo yard that we use, the abobo yard for the picking of items in Accra and stuff here. Now, when you go to the farming community, some of them use it to convey farm produce from one point to the other, usually for the farm, and sometimes to, especially if you're small scale farmer, to move it from there to maybe a corporate or a warehouse or an aggregator who will then also sell to somebody and put it into that warehouse. Now, what has been happening is that sometimes, for example, share, when the ladies go and pick the share, they put them into their bags, and then they put them, and the thing is going. If you don't seal the bags very well, the person who is conveying can pour some of the share into another bag, and then corner it somewhere. So the share, when they go, they wait. So in front of you in your house, you thought, in the farm or in the forest you are picking, you thought that the share is going to give you maybe 300 Ghana cedis. By the time you get to the place, the weighing machine is now giving you maybe 350, 250 or 200, because the guy has balanced himself, has taken some of the share out, or stolen some of the share from you, or some of them has spilled on how it has been because the rules are bad. Now, what then happens is that you are losing. So what people are thinking, we are advocating for is that if you could even have sensors and trackers that are placed upon the sacks. So as I fill it, the thing can be able to tell that this track, and then have some mobile weighing machines. So as I give it to the transportation company or the transportation agency or the Aboboya driver, the Aboboya driver in front of me, we know we have weighed it with this mobile weighing machine, and the sensor is attached to it. So we know that I'm bringing in 6 bags, each of them weigh let's say 50 kilograms, and on average I'm going to be making like maybe 300 cedis a bag. So I have an idea of what is coming, and I can be able to note that at the end of the day, when I move that produce and it comes to you, I've been able to move, and that can give me so I can be able to have more transparency and then better value, and tighten all the loose ends on my revenue. Number two, I don't need to go. I don't need you to go and come back and come and pick more from me before I can be able to get, in case every day I'm supposed to make 1,500 cedis. If the bags are well weighed and you carry them and go once, it's gone. But if I lose some through transportation costs and only how bags are going, I may have to come and pick more. So if I put more efficiency in my transportation, I may also reduce my carbon footprint. So what we are emphasizing here is that for European Union, they would like to see that you have got put in systems which you can use can enable them to track or trace the or track or trace or monitor the sustainability of your whole supply chain and of your farming practices. Your farming practices and then the whole and your transportation and your logistics practices. We would like to know. But how will you be able to do it if you don't have the technology that is deployed within that environment? So environmental imperatives tend to matter, but it also has an influence on whether the company has enough money to be able to respond to it. Let's take an example. In the dry season, in part of the region, there could be water scarcity, which requires the adoption of water saving strategy, and that must be factored into the overall farm operation plan. Because if the water level for irrigating our pineapples fall below a level, it can also let our produce become stunted. That's why our gentleman here was saying that some of our products, Emmanuel was saying that some of our products don't look very good at all. And you wonder that's what is being given to is being exported, or that's what's being given to Ghana. So the environmental context make you yes, Stephen, go ahead.
Yes, talking about the back to the issue about some of our products not looking good at all. I was just chipping in. There was once I saw a video of a Ghanaian market woman. I think she was selling red fish, and in order to make the fish more appealing, actually she had a bucket of I don't know whether it was paint or a particular kind of color. Yeah.
I've seen that video.
Yes, and I was like, it's serious. These are the kind of things you are to the extent that even palm oil, they have some of sudine or something they mix with it to give it that reddish look. I was like, but I'm not sure something like that can even be exported. But within internally, it's being produced and virtually it's like there's virtually not much monitoring from the markets.
You are right. Actually, if the Food and Drug Board doesn't do the monitoring efficiently, then we have a problem. We are all counting upon them. They don't do them, or a whistleblower doesn't go and tell. Then we are going to have a problem. So what you are saying, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. These are issues that have been going on, and some of the market women they know, even some of their children know that this producer is 3 days old. And they just, haven't you seen that sometimes, even chicken that you buy, you ask the woman, is it fresh chicken? She says it's fresh. But she has actually cooked it. Yesterday she bought it, she cooked it again. This morning she cooked it again. And sometimes you realize that as you take the fish they're going to eat, there is some smell around it because it seems like the oil that has been used to cook the fresh fish is an oil that has been stale. So the oil and its dirt and everything is passed onto the fresh fish that they actually obtained. So what you're saying is very, very true. Very, very true. And you see, and in this era of we also working 9 to 5, 9 to 9, 9 to 10 p.m., it's very difficult to say that everything you like to cook it yourself. So, because some of the things you have to just not everybody can afford to also eat in the hotels. And who told you that the hotels to do cut corners? So we are just at the mercy of God in some of the things. Because some of the things what you mentioned is very, very, very true. Very, very true. Okay. Legal context. This covers laws related to consumer protection, labor and health and safety and competition and trade compliance. So people maybe want to know that the people that you are working in your farm, are you adhering to the labor laws? Are the conditions of service fair? Are the people's rights being protected? And this one is not about ethics. So government can come after you, but you are not actually establishing a healthy and safe environment for people to come and also work to actually work in that environment. Especially if you realize that sometimes some of the women who are breastfeeding their children are forced to return to work very early and bring that the child who is being breastfed, and then sometimes the child is left on the floor sitting by naked fire, and that naked fire is being used to cook banku, and the child is vulnerable to anything because these children they can get up and just go and carry the fire. I think they say something is playing with, and they pass the child around. If I'm tired, I'll give it to my friend here. Then if my friend is tired, I'll give it to the customer to hold it. So these things are real. They happen in such environments. But government says that this, according to labor laws, you have to be able to show that one, you have got the environment is safe and healthy for people to work in. You are not also endangering anybody, and you are not endangering and engaging children, especially after 6 p.m. to about 8. Yesterday we were looking at about 6 to about the next day 8 p.m. You are not supposed to engage children in any kind of work. And even if you are engaging children in work in the typical hours too, it has to be light work. And it has to be work that does not inconvenience a child for in terms of his health and in terms of the child's schooling. So there are things that we take for granted, but they're against the law. And some of the globally, some of the food safety regulations require you to check, even declare what your pesticide limit that you are using on your farm. We don't do some of these things in Ghana, maybe to the best of our knowledge, or we are not educated about it as a consumer. Because there is a level of pesticide if they are exposed to your products and exposed to your to the farm produce while it's being farmed, it actually endangers the person who's eating it. But we take some of these things for granted and think that others will do our job for us. But we have to become a vigilant police doing all these things together, because of the way technology is coming immersive and pervasive. And then there is also human beings are also changing their lifestyles all the time, making decisions which are different than, and they may not be ethically conscious as others were. So we have to try and protect. When you know that there's something that somebody is doing to a particular type of food and it's not right, I think you should be able to draw attention to it, or you yourself walk away, and so that you can walk away with people who are related to you. Anybody who goes there, then goes there at its own peril. So the legal context is quite broad. We're also talking about consumer protection, consumers coming together to be able to exercise their right. The fact that they can establish unions to be able to respond to some of the trade compliance issues within the sector they are working in, and then the fairness in their salaries and fairness in their working conditions. Okay. Good. Now, new legal obligations around data privacy and patient consent would apply if GH Fresh collected detailed personal data and then local markets customers. So if you GH Fresh, you are started allowing people to come and buy from you or even eat at your premises, and you are documenting their personal data. The question that comes is that, have you gone to sign up with the Data Protection Commission? Have you signed up? Are you adhering to all their principles so that they don't come after you and then say that you are in breach? Okay. The next one is Porter's five forces model. That looks at the industry. Now, Porter's five forces model tries to look at determine the profit potential within an industry. And it looks at 5 forces that tend to describe competitive intensity and the attractiveness of a specific industry to companies. And when you evaluate the distinct strength of these forces, you can be able to make a decision as a company on what you should do in order to be able to maximize your profit. So the forces are the threat of new entrants, the rivalry among existing competitors, the bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, and then threat of substitutes. So let's go by them. The rivalry among existing competitors, bargaining power of suppliers, bargaining power of buyers, threat of substitutes, and threat of new entrants. Threats of new entrants. So let's look at it, take them one by one. And then we can apply to our company. Rivalry among competitors. This measures the intensity of competition, usually that you find among existing firms. Sometimes when the rivalry is high and the competitors are numerous, it means that the products are undifferentiated. We are also selling the same thing. And then you may not see much industry growth. And sometimes in such an environment, the exit barriers are also high. So people don't want to, they have invested a lot, they don't want to leave, and they are all inside and they're not making much money. Now, high rivalry forces firms to compete primarily on price cutting into price cutting into profit margin. So if you realize it happens even with the telcos, the few telcos who have been able to enter and operating in Ghana, they sometimes compete based on price. each of them tries to reduce their amount of cost for their data services and the amount of cost for their voice services, so that they can be able to gain much value. Because we are all in it, and consumers have options. So to be able to make sure that I can survive, I would rather reduce my price. Now for Ghana Fresh export market, rivalry is moderate because they are exporting to the EU. And then rivalry is moderate, focus on quality and volume. So when you are taking the products there, you have to concern about the quality because you are doing a premium product. So you want the quality should be high, and then you should be to provide enough volume to fill all the key premium shops that you want to sell in. You don't want to be everywhere, but it's a premium product, you in the premium shops that you want to sell in. However, when they attempt to do the local juice market, which has to do the sobolo that we see, the hibiscus drink, some of them mix it with ginger, others mix it with passion fruit, others mix it with oranges, so many different combinations that exist currently. Now, and some of them have too much sugar in this, others have less sugar, others have no sugar at all. So there's a lot of variation in that place. And rivalry is high because there are a lot of small competitors and then low product differentiation. All of them are doing sobolo, and they're just adding a few things to it. So there's very low product differentiation, and people just want a good sobolo to be able to drink. Now, how then will you use analytics to help you if you're a company? You can use analytics to help yourself by tracking data on competitor pricing, what prices are competitors selling at, and then promotion activities and the market share. Who is doing promotions on the market right now? How much are they selling their products? How does it compare to the sale of the product compared to the actual price when there's no promotion? Then you can be able to analyze that and ask yourself that whether this has likelihood to increase their market share, or what the current market share of the company by doing this. Now, when you have such data well collected from the industry, you can then do data-driven competitive insight. You can actually take sound decisions because now you have the appropriate data to be able to do the sound decisions. So rivalry, you cannot control rivalry. The question is about how you react towards it, and you have to know which of the rivalries you want to respond to, which of them you don't want to respond to. So, number two, the next is and then threat of new entrants. Some sectors have got low entry barriers, so it's very easy for anybody to enter. The hairdressing sector, for example, as soon as somebody finishes hairdressing, can just get an apprentice, and we can get another person to join him. They are able to invest in a few equipment. They have started their hairdressing. The dressmaking too is like that. Relatively, the barriers to entry are are almost negligible when you're in the urban settings. People have money, they can invest in it easily. But when you go to the rural communities, sometimes three family members have to come together, the whole family have to get to buy one sewing machine for the person. After that, buy other equipment and accessories for the person. Now, when they are able to do that, it means that another person, a neighbor to that area can also enter. Because the barriers of entry into such business is very low. And when the barriers of entry is very low, that means that you can have an influx of a lot of providers, and then they are now competing for the same consumer. The consumers are very few. The consumer bargaining power will go high. He would like to choose this or you choose that person. You make a choice about, and others will pleading that why don't you come back to me? Why don't you come back to me? Why? Because the barriers of entry to that field of work is very low. So you are forced as a company to innovate yourself and diversify yourself in the way that you can stand as, even though the barriers are low, I am who I am here. I've become a premium person, or I'll be able to build something, a niche area. I'm very good with beats as a fashion designer. I'm very good with maybe with kaftans. I'm very good with political suits. I'm very good with wedding clothes. So that you can be known for that one and then can stand out. Otherwise, if you don't differentiate yourself by skill, you'll be in trouble. So that's why I say a high threat of new entrants lowers industry profitability. And because the new firms bring fresh capacity and drive down prices. How many times have you not seen a new restaurant on your block and they with their advertisement and the by the Sunday you are there to go and try the product? How many who has not been drawn to that before? You see, they do a lot of adverts and stuff. You see, they have a very good ambience. The lights are there. And by the time they finish reopening, by weekend, you are there to buy your first, go and try the food. We do that because we at the end of the day, we have seen the price, we have seen the product, and we think that we want to go and test it out. So usually the new firms bring fresh capacity and they down prices, because when they enter into the place, they sometimes, some of them start at the lower end, and then they make people consider buying their products. So what other companies have been doing is to reinvent themselves and start having other products within their same product line, which is within the price that can actually quieten their competitor. And one company that does that very well is Samsung and Tecno. They fight a lot. But you see, sometimes Samsung will start a new product, a product line, and the product line is like a little few features or that they have reduced, or a little bit of the quality has been reduced, so that they can be able to sell the same phone that you like at a cheaper price, maybe at a 10,000 Ghana price or at a 3,000 Ghana price, in order to compete with the Technos, who are even sometimes selling their high end about the same price as the entry level of a Samsung. So the competition is very, very keen, and firms have to compete by price and also by innovation. Good. So it's a Ghana Fresh large-scale pineapple farming has high interest, high entry barriers. Because because it's farm, you have to buy land, you have to buy a processing plant. But the small-scale dried fruit market has low barriers because and easy to substitute a competitor's small packet. Some of these competitors, they just take a piece of rubber band, they dry the things manually on maybe a board, and then they take the dry fruit and put it inside and bag it and seal it and go and start selling. Sometimes they're not even going to Food and Drug Board to get appropriate authentication. So they start selling the product, but they don't have all of these things. Now, when you come to companies that can do, have got resources like Ghana Fresh, if they enter into a small scale dry market, dry food market, it may be there are low barriers that they will not spend, they will just have to allocate a little bit of money to do advertisement, and then they may take over their place because the cost of entry is very low and the cost of operations may be quite low for them, and they will find it very easy to be able to take a dominance in that industry too. So data can size the investment required and assess the loyalty with regard to the new market that you want to enter. You can use collect data on the investment required and then assess the loyalty of the consumers. To what extent are the consumers willing to do more for you? You can do that assessment and to guide you as a firm in making your decisions. Okay, what about bargaining powers, customers or buyers? This measures the extent to which customers can force down the prices or demand higher quality service, and this is also true. So the buyer power is high when the buyers purchase a large volume, and switching costs are low, or the product is standardized. So what then you see here is that there are quite a lot of buyers for a few products, and firms are forced to find a way of building good relationships with the buyers so that they can lock them into doing business with them all the time. Good. And I can give you a very simple example. The barbers, the hairdressing salons, especially with the male barbers. So sometimes somebody can live in, let's say, Kishinungwa, and then he'll move away from there and come to campus, and there are barbers on campus, but that guy goes to surprise you that every weekend or every 2 weeks Friday, he goes back to Kishinungwa and go and get his barbering done, and then he's shaving done. And somebody will ask him, why are you coming that far? Can't you find somebody on campus to do it for you? Why? Sometimes the barber has built a relationship with the person. And it's not just about the barbering. The fact that we meet, we can just and talk about it, the ambience on the environment, the trust that you can trust your hair with the person, and the person has been doing this for you for some time, and he has always been giving the nice cut that people like about it. But if you go to this person, you see you have to describe how do you like it, short or long, and this and that, and they'll go and bring different pictures for you to look at. You don't want to go through all of these things, and the person will use your hair to do a try and error. You are confident that the person who has been doing it in your community can do a better job for you. So you like to invite that person to come and do it for you. So while in such a scenario, you're realizing the consumer has tied himself with it and is locked with the person and wants to attract that value all the time. And that value matters more to a consumer. Now, GH Fresh sells large volumes of export pineapples to a few major European grocery chains. They are large buyers. This gives the buyers high bargaining power because you are selling grade A products, and those who buy the grade A products are very few, especially from Africa. You are very few in the UK. So you're kind of tied to them, and then you want to make sure you get your produce to them, make them happy, so that they can give you the rebates or continue give you continuous business. In that era, what would you use analytics for? We can use our analytics tools to track buyer volume concentration, and then be able to measure how much buyers have been buying at a given period. Then we can do what we call the HHI or the HH index, which is the measurement that we use to be able to kind of measure the volume concentration for the things that we do. I think you come across this one in most of one of your calculations in other classes you are doing. Otherwise, I think by the time we get to knowing how to use some of the mathematical models in this class, I'll come back to this thing and hopefully be able to show you how to use it to do a calculation. Then I'll also measure the buyer's price elasticity of demand. If the demand goes high, how much, what's the maximum or the minimum he would like to sell for? If the demand goes low, what's the minimum he would like to sell for? You may want to understand this thing, but it all comes from you collecting some data and understanding the context so that you can be able to do a proper analysis of what is happening. Now, then bargaining, please, you can ask questions anytime. Bargaining power of suppliers. So we did with the buyers. Now the suppliers can happen in a situation that you, the company, you are buying from a few suppliers. So the suppliers themselves dictate to you. And these are the ones who provide you with your labor, your raw material, your specialized equipment. And they dictate you to raise prices or to reduce the quality of goods and services they supply. The supplier power is high when the supplier segment is concentrated. There are very few suppliers, and it means that switching costs are high. And then the supplier product is highly differentiated. Sometimes differentiated to serve only you. Because you want specialized logistics or specialized operations from them. For GHF, the power of specialized logistics partners tend to matter. Those who own the refrigerated shipping containers and know the route will play a very key role for them. Because these are the people who have been collecting and moving your produce from, let's say, Eastern region to Accra all the time. They know the route very well. So they expect you that you treat them also with that much respect, because if they move away from you and you're going to get a new driver, you may have to find a way of joining their vehicle so that the product can come to you. Even getting the right vehicle that can pick the products at the optimum price that you wanted, and then bring it to a country, a place like Accra to sell or to give to someone to pass on to another company. Now, the only way it can happen is that then you have a refrigerated shipping container can do that. One of the challenges of GH Fresh, when we look at the cases, is that because of the predictability of harvest, they are not able to also ascertain how much they will be moving in terms of logistics. So logistics planning is very poor within GH Fresh. And that means that it will also cost them more, because a refrigerated shipping container or bus or truck to bring your produce from Kumasi to Accra, or to bring your produce from, let's say, Pastor Eastern region to Accra, it's not a joke. The company should be well grounded in that particular activity and should be able to do it very well, so the products are fresh before they are exported. Now, if you're not able to do that very well, that means that the company are not able to do very, very well. You as a company must go backward and buy companies like that so that you can use them to be able to, you can control the value chain. Because if you don't do that and don't control the value chain, somebody just get up and today we are tired, we are on holiday, we are not working. What you are going to produce at the farm, it has to go to the port so that it will be shipped. But this is somebody is saying there, you are tired, we are not working. Anyway, so the bargaining power of suppliers, the ability of the resource providers to raise prices or to also dictate on the market, on market happenings, or what the engagement they have with you on the market, is where we are saying that they have a higher bargaining power. Now, number two, data. We can use data to track the concentration of suppliers and note and the cost of implication of switching from an alternative provider to an alternative provider. What will it cost us if we should move from J&J Sans to SH Operations Limited? Well, what will it cost us? These are things that we are trying to see. How will it even calculate? What will it cost us? If it not cost us that much and it's not value, the value is marginal, it will be better for us to stay with the company that we are, because we may not be getting any new value from going to this new company. Now, the threat of, but we are using data to do the analysis. The threat of substitutes comes from the fact that can your product replace? Is there a likelihood that customers will switch to a product or a service from another industry that performs a similar function? Some products are standardized so much that it's very easy for people to choose another product. The phone market. Sometimes you realize that the phones that are at a particular price are almost the same. There are not much difference with them. And still people are trying to pay premium money for it. So somebody will just go for the entry-level version and it's okay. Even the Samsung products, they've got a fun edition, which is around 12,000, 11,000, as compared to the other editions, which are start from 16,500 to about 21 or 22,000. Okay, then so we in threat of substitute products, we want to check whether there's a high threat of substitute that limits the price a firm can charge, because they can go for the alternative. So and that can constrain you. If there's an alternative and the alternative is doing something very interesting, they can go for the alternative. Ghana GH Fresh or Ghana Fresh pineapple export. The substitute is a canned pineapple. So the substitute for their product is a canned pineapple. And some people have been canning pineapple as of now. Okay, I think some of the big companies, Nourisha and other companies, are started considering canning of such products. Canning of those such products. Okay, so let's look at it. A canned pineapple can be cheaper and give a long shelf life, but other fruits like mangoes and other fruits like mangoes or grapes, they can also think about doing the same for them. But if the price of Ghana fresh pineapple rises too high, buyers will easily switch. So if your value proposition is that you are giving them fresh product, then you can't go and give them canned one. Because for you to can it and for you to store, that means that you have to put certain measures in place and so that you can keep it fresh. So if you are going for fresh pineapple export, then you have to know that your competitors may not be those who are not exporting, unless you are operating with those who are exporting in the country. If you take Ghana Fresh, somebody will say the competitor of Ghana Fresh would be Blue Skies, because they are also exporting. So if Blue Skies is doing something better, they are not doing, then they will lose out. Okay, so Ghana Fresh competitor is Blue Skies, and then for the pineapple export, their substitute is the canned pineapple, which they will see in the UK market, they will see in the US market and stuff. But your argument is that you are selling a premium product that's organic. So that will be the main mantra that they will use. If they're able to communicate that one, then their product will be able to have a space. Because there are a lot of organic buyers, organic sensitive buyers. Means that they are always looking for products that are organic and they are natural, not the ones that are unnatural and have been unnatural or have been diluted with so many other chemicals or other things that may end up diluting it. I will not want to eat something with the say fresh food, then they are poured water halfway into it, and then it becomes not a fresh fruit anymore. It happens. Sometimes they tell you nice advert, fresh fruit, or that, like, go and drink it and realize that there's water, there's some sugar in it. Especially with the Subulu product, you feel there's some sugar in it, and you want to ignore. They're not using natural sugar, and they are taking the sugar, a raw sugar, and putting it to get taste for people. No. If you do that, consumers will substitute and go to the substitute product, because after some time they realize that you are not being genuine. The product you have bought is not the right product, and they'll go for the substitute. Okay. So in a data environment, I will say that it is important that a data analyst like you can monitor price and price elasticity. How does the price go up and down? And how does the demand for one product affect the other? The demand for one product affect the other. So let me give an example. When you go to a shop like Starbucks, there are fruit juices there. And the fruit juices, they are tied to some of the, it's kind of interesting, but when you buy a product and you buy the fruit juice, you kind of see people who buy the product, every product they buy, they add the fruit juice. And the fruit juice is a different price. But sometimes they do promotion and they say that okay, they are doing a promotion on burgers, and buy one burger, get another free plus a drink. And they'll add their pineapple drink to it. In that scenario, they are also helping you introduce you, the consumer, to the pineapple drink so that you can make a choice for it later. Now, when you have a company like GH Fresh that is doing so much advert, putting in so much advert, if you don't monitor how much they are selling the product, that's their price, and the competitors own, you may not be able to advise GH Fresh that Val's Day is coming, Mother's Day is coming. Let's take advantage of do some packaging so that we can increase our revenue. Your focus is about keep delivering quality, but also increasing the revenue for that quality. So you always have to keep an eye on data on the product that you are selling, how much, who is buying it, where are they buying it from, and then how is it being even used and consumed, so that you can see if there are some new patterns of behavior around the product, you can respond to it. Sometimes companies buy a product and that's not what people use it for. How many of you have not seen that some of the churches that you go into, they use the non-alcoholic wines as communion wine. I know communion wine is there. Sometimes they say that the communion wine, original wine they sell, is very bitter. So the normal alcoholic wine, quite a number of churches then use it as their main wine bottle, and then they serve it for their communions. So you may have a product in mind, but the consumers may innovate around, they use it for something else, and you have to keep it that in mind. So all of a sudden, you realize there's a high demand for your product, and if you don't, and you may be coming from a particular group of people, if you don't go and check it very well, by the time you realize those who are buying it are buying for a different purpose, but still they are still buying from you, but they are buying for a different purpose. Data on your product and how much you are selling matters. And if you have it, it can inform you to make sound decisions. Data on your product and how much you are selling matters. Good. Then the interesting one is called the strategic. Yes, go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yes, I don't know if I might be on the right track with the question I'm asking, but I think from what I'm getting, can we say that with the PESTEL framework, it's got more to do with like looking at all other factors, which includes political, economic, cultural, amongst others. But the five, I forgot the name of is it five focus. The one you just spoke about, it seems it's got more to do with market forces rather than looking at other external forces. So can you say that the focus focuses on mostly on only the economic aspect of it? I don't know if I'm
okay. Let me explain. So let's go back so I can help you. First of all, there are two frameworks. They are all good frameworks. This is for industry profitability. The industry you are working in. Who are your rivals? Who can substitute you? Do you understand?
okay.
Rivals who can substitute you. What is the strength of your buyers? What is the strength of your suppliers? That's what this one is doing. This one is doing an external evaluation of the forces that can affect your firm in decision making.
Okay.
Thank you. Then this new one we are going to look at, strategy group mapping, helps you to identify who are your closest rivals. What are the alternatives for you? And what are the untapped markets for you? So listen very carefully. Who are your closest rivals? What are alternatives for you? And what are your untapped markets? Strategic group mapping helps you to create a map and see where you are in the map. So what they then do is that it's a technique that identifies the clusters of firms that pursue similar strategies within an industry. So you are in an industry, you want to know who and who are, for example, University of Ghana can say that we are in an industry, but we are surrounded by people like Kimpa, Wisconsin, Radford, Louisford. What is our strategic position in relation to these companies, these other firms, or these other schools? That's the question you can ask yourself. Now you can do this by identifying two strategic dimensions, one on the X and one on the Y axis. You can have price versus breadth of menu or breadth of options, or scope of operation versus quality, or the nature of teaching versus quality. So you're comparing the nature of teaching them universities versus the quality. So you can compare it to some are doing blended learning, are doing online learning, and what is the quality of their products, the products out of the university. But for this class today, we are looking at the business sense. We are going to use the price and the breadth method, the breadth of options or the breadth on your menu or the breadth of alternatives that you have. Okay. So the first one is that we have something we call the phrase low cost hybrid or hybrid, a high cost low breadth. So you can either use your cost and breadth, the price, and then the options that you have. Now, this particular low cost hybrid phrase generally describes a strategy or product design that aims to offer a wide coverage, that's a breadth, but being able to let that one be delivered at a minimal cost. So, like for example, in business, low cost is offering an inexpensive. It's quite often it's quite inexpensive to produce or deliver because of it can be automated, the economies of scale, the standardized processes. So producing that thing doesn't matter, that it doesn't cost that much. Hybrid means that we can offer that thing that been produced to a large amount of people than rather focusing on a small niche. Do you understand it? So, for example, like watch sellers, quite a number of watch sellers around now. Why? Because at the end of the day, watch sales is standardized. You want some Gary, you want some macaroni, then you want what again? Willy, and you need to have some meat, fish, and egg. That's all. And then if people like fried plantain, you sometimes you most of the time people don't even sell the watch seller doesn't have fried plantain. He's positioning a shop by a gobe seller who is selling the beans and fried plantain. So if you want fried plantain, go and buy from that place. So somebody can say to some extent, watch out be standardized. Standardized so my people can able to enter and then create their own watching. But the thing is that when you standardize watching and you are even selling, it's low cost to produce to you. But can you sell it to a large number of people? That's another thing. Is it reaching many people, many customer types or use cases? Are you going to position your watch at the restaurant or near Kibensky so that people can high value customers can buy you? Or are you going to sell within the premises of a particular high end environment? Mm. So the low cost is offering an inexpensive to produce or deliver. The hybrid, the offering covers a wide range of things. So let's take a cloud platform of offering basic data storage and computing tools to millions of users at globally low price subscription fees. So this is happening all over the place where the cost of producing, because they are using shared services, and they may end up placing the technology that is used to serve a number of people's websites may be the same basic technology. They tend to share their services and resources to them. Unless the person wants a dedicated server, they will share the same server with these people. Now, what happens is that the cloud platform has a low cost, cheap, is quite cheap per user. They bring $3 per month per person. But then it can serve so many different types of users. Different people can come and use it because at the end of the day, the cost is very minimal. So with $10 or with 10 whatever it is, $10, somebody can have his own can own his own data cloud platform with certain data elements optimized for his use, and he can then go ahead and just use it to store information, whatever he wants to use it for. Now, this particular low-cost hybrid is good for this example, but there are other combinations because you're using X and Y axis. So on one side, you're talking about price. The price is higher at the top, it's lower below. On the other side, on the horizontal side, you're talking about breadth. The breadth is high at the end, towards the end, and then low at the beginning. So when you say high cost, low breadth, that means that you are focusing on a small niche of people. The product is expensive, but it's for a few people. And that means that you are even fortunate and priced to be given that product. And that one goes to luxury and niche strategies. So it's very unique things that is uniquely positioned for that. So if you have a high cost and low breadth, that means that the people will be experiencing luxurious products that usually have a niche focus. Low cost, low breadth. Low cost, low breadth. That means that it costs us almost negligible to produce a thing and to offer it in the market. And then, but we cannot be able to go to a high breadth because of the fact that it serves a particular type of people. So it is low in cost, but it's also low in breadth. Focus on low price niche offerings. A simple local app will just serve the locality. They have got high cost, high breadth. Large diversified firms like IBM and things, you see that in them a lot. Large cost and large and high breadth. And even sometimes you can apply this to your own company. For this particular sector, are you a high cost, high breadth, or high cost, low breadth? Or are you a low cost, low breadth? Okay. Now, what does this mean in terms of if a person was doing research as a researcher? When you are doing product development or design, low cost hybrid can describe the rapid, inexpensive experiments or services that reach many different user segments, but together wide-ranging insights. So end up realizing that online survey is relatively low cost, but that online survey can be used to gather data from so many people and even do multiple design and test multiple design ideas across a diverse set of people. So the tool is a low-cost tool, and it can also be used to reach a higher number of people. So in that scenario, we have a low-cost and then high breadth strategy when we talk about some of the tools that we use for online service. Now, what about education? When applied to training or public programs, low cost means that the cost is affordable to everybody, to the participant. Hybrid means that we are reaching many people and ensure inclusiveness. So I know there's no digital divide. We are trying to reach many regions, many demographics. So I call it low cost and hybrid. Hybrid means that it's even bringing all the people who tend to matter in terms of inclusion studies into it. Okay. Now, what does this actually mean? Let's try to apply it to the fast food industry. And this is how the strategic map can be seen. On one side, on the y-axis, we have the menu variety or options, few to many. So more or high menu, high variety or high options is at the top. And then on the other side, I've got low, medium to high in terms of the price. So you've got price on the horizontal axis, and then I've got, you can, I think you can also flip it. And I've got variety on the vertical axis. Now let's place the company. What can we say about Subway from the drawing that we have? What can we say about Subway? What can we say about Subway? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, high menu variety, low price.
Good. High menu variety. So they're trying to make sure there's more options for you, but they are low price. Okay. Well, in Ghana, what comes into mind? A company, which kind of company comes into mind? Okay. What about the Burger King? Mano.
Burger King. I don't buy from them. I don't know their menu variety.
But what is the diagram telling you?
No, Burger King here. Okay. That's a low price and then low menu variety.
And then Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake is a high price and then high menu variety.
Okay, that's interesting.
Then
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So low cost, few items, Burger King. They don't have much variety in their menu, but the price is good. Subway, a lot low cost, a lot of items in their menu. High cost high cost, few items, chic, and high cost, many items, cheesecake. So there's limited competition. If you look at what the gaps is highlighting, it looks like highlight strategic gaps. For example, there's limited competition in the medium price and high variety space. So there's like a risk of opportunity for new entrants. Medium price is not here, and high variety for medium price is not actually mentioned. So if you look at the diagram, medium price is somewhere here. There's no company there. Okay, so let's look at it here. Subway offers low price, high variety. So there's customizable menu items. You can choose a mix. It's like going for a buffet, but you choose the different items and vegetables and that, and they put it into your sandwich for you. Burger King, there's not much variety. You can't do a lot of things on your own. You just have to choose from the menu they give you, and the prices is fair. And then Shake, they have higher price, but there's also limited menu. That means that it's a high fast food enjoyment place. They use quality ingredients. They may be organic, but their prices are not going to be low. Their prices are going to be high. Okay. Then you also have cheesecake, high price, high variety. That's the upper part. So what does it mean? Companies can use the strategic map to guide decisions on how to compete within the fast food industry. For instance, by observing where competitors are clustered, a firm can identify strategic gaps or areas on the map where fewer players and potential customer demand. So look at the diagram. The reason why the middle tends to be on this side, the middle is not being taken advantage of, and even here to this, the middle is not taken advantage of. So the medium strategy will help.
Prof, can we say the other one is from middle to high? Uh, which company is that? Can you go up, please? Yeah, Subway. Looks like,
Yeah,
well, are they on the highest? It looks like they start from the middle to high.
in terms of their variety.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, in terms of their variety, that means that they are got few to many. And the reason why there's got few to many is that is because of the fact that the Subway allows you to do your own sandwich. So you pick the bread, you choose, I want this, I want salami, I want beef, I want cabbage, I want this. Then they'll do it, and then they'll do that for you. So there's like,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that is why it is giving them more. So somebody will choose other kind of combination. So that creates much more. So a new entrant might target a mid price, that's in terms of pricing, in a high variety segment. The variety segment is more important, offering a diverse menu option at moderate prices to attract consumers who want more choices at Burger King, but at lower prices than the cheesecake. Do you realize they want more choices, but lower prices? Similarly, an existing brand like Subway could explore premium versions, or even have a Subway joints that are premium. The premium only premium is a premium environment. So Ghana Starbucks does the same thing. Starbucks has Starbucks to go. You don't allow them to serve some type of food there. You buy the food to go, and you don't sit in to eat. But when you go to Starbucks main branches, the one also in other branches, you can sit down and eat in those shops. Why?
Yeah,
Because
it's Legon.
yes, you see always that place is even flooded with people. But the to go means that you actually pick your thing and just go. And they have a limited menu, so you may not get all the menu you may see, and they have been warned. They have been warned, and even the kind of ingredients they bring them is also monitored, so you cannot go and cook something else and sell, and it should not be on your menu, on your in-house menu display. So you can't actually, so you can't, when somebody is punching, you cannot choose. For example, they have got something called fisherman sauce with rice. It's in the main shops. You can't see the main branches. You can't get it to buy in a to-go branch. Why? Because the to-go branch is supposed to be for very food that are easy to use, package and to go with them. Their fingerlings, their croissants, and their donuts and stuff, and there are a few of the foods. So that it can handle a rigorous market demand that is just asking for all kinds of dishes, which are not cooked there. Now, overall, the map helps executives to visualize competitive positions, assess rival strengths and weaknesses, and choose strategic moves. So, for example, number one, if I'm a company, the first thing I would like to note is that I may want to know who are my competitors, the firm's competitors or closest rivals. So, for a small savings bank, your competitor is not the big savings bank. It's going to be the local small banks, and then the mobile money person in your community. Those are your competitors. If you don't know how to analyze competitors, you'll be in trouble. So we advise that competitors should be valued and should be assessed by those who have direct threat to you. For example, Ghana Fresh, their competitor, their closest rival is Blue Skies. Blue Skies is the one who's also exporting to Europe and other countries. And they are also doing pineapple and other products. So they're your direct competitor. Number two, highlighting alternative paths to success. So we look at the map and see where are there gaps, where I can try my new products that I can also consider doing something with them. So alternative paths of success. So for instance, in the restaurant industry, one group succeeds through low cost and high breadth, like the fast food area, while another succeeds through high quality and low breadth, that you have to sit in and eat there. Now, this shows Ghana Fresh alternatives. Ghana Fresh can focus on low cost or high volume. That's do a grade B product and then compete with them, like the local Sobolo drinks, and compete with those people. Or focus on a high quality grade A product, which is organic, and then keep on exporting that one to Europe with Blue Skies.
Oh, sorry. I have a question.
Yes, please.
On the issue of knowing your competitors,
Yes, please.
I'm just asking, maybe there are rankings of banking sectors or banks,
Yes.
and then you are maybe let's say you are number 10. Will your competitor be the number 1?
Does it have direct? Does it have a direct effect on you?
No, okay, so when you mentioned that you should be careful in choosing who your competitors are, so it could be that maybe the market share, per market share, you are nowhere close or something, or revenue generation.
Okay, this one we are saying a small savings bank does not compete with a large multinational because they even services that you don't offer. Your competitor is the local small banks and then the mobile money service, which you don't even see. That the person, one of the reasons why GN Bank was very successful in the beginning is that they were not looking to compete with the big banks. They wanted to be the local bank that is closer to you. So where GN Bank was doing very well, mobile money companies were even struggling. They were even in such a way that you can go there and do mobile money inside the GM Bank.
Can see.
Okay. So well understood. So either I'll do a low volume, high organic grade product, and then compete very well with Blue Skies. That's what I may consider. Now, revealing gaps in opportunity. The strategic market can also review white spaces, unfulfilled niches that can be seen as an opportunity for you, like the dried fruit market that I mentioned earlier. Now, that is something that they are not yet tested. They can consider doing that one. Okay. Now let's look at the internal strategy and alignment. For internal strategy, you have to ask yourself that what are your primary activities, what are your support activities? So one model that is from Michael Porter, the same one who did the Porter's 5 forces model. He also did the value chain analysis for looking at your firm into 9 relevant activities. 5 of them are primary, 4 of them are support activities. Now, if you do that very well, you can be able to identify where critical data generation points are in terms of looking at your firm, and then be able to make your choice in terms of how are you going to differentiate yourself to make your products better. Okay, great. So this is how it looks like. For Ghana Fresh, activities related to physical production and movement like operations and logistics are the key drivers of competitive advantage. The primary focus is on operations, planting and harvesting. So operations matters a lot for Ghana because it's a farm. They produce the things themselves. Now, if you're able to, and then outbound logistics, being able to sell the things. So the two here, the two in the middle, play a key role for Ghana Fresh. The outbound, the operations, and then the outbound logistics. So if I have anything, I'll pour my data sensors and my data collection abilities in these two so that I can be able to get a richer picture. Outbound logistics and operations. Okay. Now, how does it work? Let's take the first one. Your inbound logistics, where you receive and store, and then you get farming inputs like fertilizer, water, and seedlings. What data will be relevant to you and to be able to make this process efficient? Let me explain something to you. You see the margin that is here. According to what Porter argues, if you get to put in the right procedures to manage support activities effectively and manage your primary activities effectively, the gains that you get, you can pass it on in terms of pass it on to the consumer. So the consumer will not have to pay that value for the same thing they are doing for us compared to maybe last year, because now there have been efficiency and then the cost of doing that may be less. That's why he's kind of arguing. So here, we are saying that if you're able to do it very well, you can pass on the benefit to the consumer who is at the end of it all. Okay. Inbound logistics. I would like to use my AI tools or my technological digital tools to do inventory tracking, check my vendor quality scores. I'll score the vendors, and then I also collect real-time soil moisture data to minimize water waste. Now, this one I'm using to analyze a firm. And I say this is what you do for in-house logistics, inbound logistics, then operations, transforming inputs into final products, which includes planting, crop maintenance, selective harvesting, and okay. So in here, I will look at yield prediction models where it can help me to predict my potential yield. Then outbound logistics, collecting and storing and physically distributing packaged or packed product and customer to the customer via refrigerated shipping. So I would like to have fridges that have a cold chain sensor so that I can monitor the temperatures in the fridge for quality assurance and for optimizing even my route and my destinations. Optimize the transportation system or my cost of transporting or all my transportation activities. That will be fuel cost, shipping transit time. It will play a key role. Marketing and sales. Customer segmentation be needed. Price elasticity analysis, promotional effectiveness, or tracking maybe the local market for products so that you can be able to compete with them. All of these ones tend to matter. Now, what service? Loss, I don't want to lose in terms of how I provide my service. I want to gain. So what can I do to improve my quality in such a way that there are very few quality rejections? And then the customer feedback is phenomenal. So what? I'll analyze my loss data analysis. Why do people reject the produce? So for example, when you go to farmer house, when the timing of expiring of maybe your tomatoes is up, they come and they sequester them into a container, they come and carry them away so that the consumer doesn't buy them. In that case, they protect the consumer and they need themselves. Okay. Then you have also got, okay, I think you have finished reading. Then you have got firm infrastructure. These other ones are the technological development, human resource, and procurement. All of them, they are critical data points you can pick in your company to use to monitor them. But you have to define what you're going to do, what it means to you as Ghana Fresh, or what it means to you as a company. For example, procurement, purchasing of raw inputs, specialized equipment, that's what you do, so that you can reduce your cost in refrigeration, and then you can also enhance your services. But then it comes back again, your bargaining power, the supplier bargaining power, the supplier are buying the raw inputs from. How much power does he have over you? Number two, your cost benefit analysis. If you have this specialized equipment, what benefit will you gain? And number three, tracking commodity prices such as fluctuation and prices. So please, I hope you appreciate this one. When you talk about human resource you have got recruiting, training, compensating field workers. And field workers are quite different. You know, in a farm, you have got casual workers, you have got the main workers. But because you want to start bringing in technology, you have to now get a data scientist, a specialized person can do it, and a field worker who can be able to also monitor some of the things for you. Because if you use a local farmer, you may end up picking your equipment and destroy them, like your soil moisture equipment. You have to introduce them to it. When they see them on the floor, they don't go and uproot it. I remember there was a statement that was talked about the computerization or digitization of a hospital in Ghana. And it was being done with collaboration from people from our department. Interestingly, what happened was that when they launched the hospital launched the information system for the electronic medical records, everything was working very perfectly. Then a few days after they heard that the machine is down, then they'll go there, then they'll go and do something about it, then they'll come back and hear the machine is down. Not knowing the workers didn't want to use the computerized one because it's affecting their profit margins. Number two, whenever the company leaves, then they remove the cable from the internet port on the wall. So on the computer, you see the internet port is there, but on the wall it is not there. And they'll be saying that it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. So we are switching to work with the manual approach. So your human resources, if you don't manage them very well, they can actually run down your company. And you can use trickery to be able to do so. So all the things that we're doing was not a truth. All we're just finding ways of getting into um, taking advantage of the system. Now you have got the business canvas. The business canvas is a tool that helps you to be able to put everything together. Asking yourself that now, where am I as a company? Where am I going? What value do I want to create? And how am I going to achieve it? So the BMC kind of is a framework. You actually, if you take a BMC framework template, you can download one from the internet. And then you ask yourself the company, customer segment, who are you creating value for? So you ask you, if you were the MD of GH Food, GH Fresh, what would you say? Who are you creating value for? I am creating value for the European grocery chain, grade A products, and I want to give them on-time delivery. Those who are concerned about on-time delivery, because there are others who are also in Ghana exporting to them, but they don't do on-time delivery. I'm giving them on-time delivery, and I'm also giving them the produce. Number two, local consumer fruits. I'm giving them the convenience. Instead of them going to pick the fruit, some of the fruits themselves, like alasa and all this, they come and dry it before they eat it. I have taken it myself and I've cut it or done whatever it is to be able to dry them. And as they get better, I give you some to eat, or I give you some to try on, or even to sell. So local consumer market is looking for convenience and then exploring the dry fruit, as we said earlier. Value propositions. What value do we deliver to the consumer? For the UK one or the European one, I want to deliver pure quality traceable pineapples. That means I have data and a system for you to check in that database. What are these pineapple that you are eating? What is the data on the soil health, the harvest date, and the cooling chain? What is the data the information was even entered into the information was even entered. Sorry, the information itself was even entered into your system for you to do your calculation on tracking your data, your soil health, your harvest date, and the cooling chain. Because when you go to the exporting to they will check these things. Consistent supply chain reliability, smooth flow of the supply chain. If you are moving the products from Kumasi to Accra, or for Techima to Accra, what kind of journey is it? Can they be able to monitor that you have been able to deliver it successfully? So these things may come up. Then how do we reach our customer segments? Okay, one, refrigerated shipping containers are one. Local distributors and retail partners, we can also sell to them. The e-commerce store is partly. And then our refrigerated shipping containers, we will use them to deliver our premium products to ship from the farmland straight to sometimes the way they're done is when you get to the shipping, yeah, they can just carry the thing and put it on the ship. That's what I've seen. Okay. Then you also got a customer relation. How do we interact with the customer segments? Automated order tracking, dedicated account managers for them to put dedicated accounts, and then local market feedback loops. So establishing feedback loops so they can hear what is happening and what people feel are their concerns too, so that it's captured into your solution or your strategy you are using as a company. Okay, so I would like to listen to companies, get what is happening on the ground. So that they tell you something that will even change how you do your business or how you even orient yourself. Then how does the firm capture value? We make value from export sales per container prices. So if I export 7 containers to EU market, I have an idea of how much I'm getting per container. Local resale sale, that's per unit pricing. Those of them who are selling the packaged dry fruits, it's going to be per unit price, where it depends on how much you sell. Every one that you sell, you get a small X value to it. You get some amount of money to it. Okay, then what are the assets required to offer our value proposition? I need a farmland, I need processing equipment, I may need special talent, agronomists, a data scientist, and I need to create my own model for optimizing harvesting. It's something that will be very interesting. Optimizing a proprietary harvest optimization model. So you develop your own model to be able to track how much you make out of your harvest that you have done by a particular time or period. By putting all the parameters in the request, you might be able to calculate how much yield you are going to get. Interesting. What activities must we do? And what are our critical activities? If we don't do them, what will fail? Our crop management, irrigation, fertilization is for the planting part. Then the analytics part, I need to collect the data on each of the on each of the farms I have, on each of the products and the plantations I have on the farm, so that I can track per product how the thing is faring, and per a plant. Like if I plant tomatoes and it's growing, I should be able to take characteristic information concerning that tomato and then put it together to get an idea of all these 100 tomatoes that are planted, what is happening and what is being said. So crop rotation, predict analysis, to forecast your yield up, to predict your yield, and then post-harvest quality control. Sometimes when you are finished harvesting and don't manage it very well, you may not be able to sell. So it's a very, very important thing that you could do. Post-harvest quality control. So you can get the freshness of whatever product you have for it to be sustainable. Okay. Please, I want to drink some water. Just give me a second. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I've drank the water. What are the most important cost centers? Cost inherent in the model? Labor will be one. Fertilizer inputs will be one. I think fertilizer inputs, government has even been subsidizing it for them. Our friend from the I think government has been doing that, and they said there have been some sabotaging in that one. Is that not true? Or they do it for only specific farmers. You do it for the private sector too. The guy for the ministry. Okay, he's not here. Wallace, does government subsidize fertilizer?
Yes, sir.
I know about that. And then IT infrastructure and data storage too. So you as a business person, you can pick the I can give you the template, and you can use to fill something for any company that you are doing to check what is your strategy that you are going to put in the business, and then what data do you need to be able to achieve and support that strategy. That's what we are talking about today. What data do you need to support it? So if for each of them, I answer by pointing out one, what I'm going to do, and then number one, what kind of data I need to help me do it. Now, coming to this, the last part. So we are going to do a small, I'll give you the template here. I'll give it to you after class. And then you can look at the issue that we have. What I want you to do is to take Ghana Fresh and then look at it. Look at it from this perspective. This is my answer, but I'm just going to compare. Let me open both screens so that you can see very well. Look at it. Oh, sorry. I'm opening the same thing again. Good. This is what I want to show you. Okay, good. Now look at this. So Ghana Fresh is considering expanding the pineapple export to Dubai. UAE. The UAE market is growing, has a higher per capita income. Values.
I think you're not showing what you want us to see.
I'm
You're also looking at the PDF.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's showing now.
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. That's smart of you. So Ghana Fresh is considering expanding its pineapple market export, primary pineapple export to UAE market. The UAE market is growing, but has a high per capita income in terms of value, and their GDP is even higher than us, and values high quality imported goods, but it's extremely sensitive to local logistical reliability. Can you be able to can you be able to deliver it on consistently? And number two, when we deliver it and we are moving it around, can your product resist the distance in terms of the travel to UAE, and then the heat evolved, even the heat drop. When it gets to UAE, the heat is very different. So what will happen to your pineapple if you bring the fresh pineapple just like that? So the first, I want you to analyze using the PESTEL and Porter's 5 forces frameworks. Analyze the potential landscape for GH fresh entry to UAE. What factors or forces will affect GH fresh? That's what I'm asking. So I'll give you a blank sheet like this, and then you can think about it and bring it back next week. What kind of thing can affect it? The frame. So you choose the framework PESTEL, then you put in the force that you think can influence it, the name of the force, like environmental. And then is it an opportunity or a threat? And is the effect of the force going to be high, moderate, or low? Then can explain it. So let's look at an example here. This one I just did as an example. I didn't finish it. That's why there's some parts which are blank. Sorry. Okay, let's continue. Good. Now the thing you're seeing here, it says something here. Says something. Okay. The first one, PESTEL. I look at political. UAE import tariffs that they will give to us to affect us. Number one, is it an opportunity or threat? What do you think, guys? UAE import tariffs, is it an opportunity or threat?
Threat, sir.
It's a threat, okay. So let me put it there. PESTEL. Let's do one for you guys. Now it's a threat, okay. Is it going to be high, low, or moderate? If you're not sure, it's better to stay with moderate, because you can. So let's write. Some of you may have to read a little bit to find out the tariff to import to the place. So moderate. Now, why do you say the threat is going to be high? So my answer was that political stability is high. There's still, but the new non-tariff barriers related to food safety could emerge. That's all. So we know that that's why I'm choosing moderate, or even sometimes low to moderate, maybe low to moderate, because we know that Dubai is stable. It's not like an African country. So we are sure that when the tariffs are given to us, it's going to be the same tariffs that we'll pay for some time. It's not like a volatile tariff. Do you understand me? Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's not like a volatile tariff. Okay. Now, which other force can you want us to work on? What other force do you think will affect them? Whether a force or mm, which other force or a force, either from the PESTEL or five forces framework. Let's say threat of substitutes. Okay. Which one? Where is it? Is it that is coming from? Sorry, Porters five forces. Okay. Threat of substitute. Is it going to be high or low? You know that the Asian market have their own drinks. I don't know whether any of your wives or even yourself found out that now the Asian market have their own perfumes and they are selling and cheaper and better. They are doing low volume, low cost and high volume, and they are selling all over the place. I don't know whether anybody have seen their perfume. The ladies who are here, I hope you know about the Asian perfumes. Christiana or Stevie, you know about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. So the same way the drink companies and I don't anybody who has gone to Dubai before can tell you they have got their own drinks. So they have got something cola. I've even forgotten the name. They have got their own drink. So I will not be surprised that even with a fresh product like this, they may have their own fresh version of whatever drink that they want. So they will have their own premium orange juice. So some of their theirs may have been tested, so it may be resistant to the heat and resistant to distance to a long travel. So I'm thinking that this one could be a high threat because the only problem I have is the African community that is there. They may like to buy my own. Well, they like you see the tomatoes, the orange taste here will be very different from the orange taste in other countries. So Ghanaians who are looking for the orange taste in Ghana may be the opportunity that I have. But there are also the threat of this one, the threat of substitutes are high. It's a high threat, and I think that it's a high threat, and I also think that is because of the fact that there are there is a possibility of premium what's the name? Premium fruit juices which are more resistance or to distance and then heat and have been locally produced. Please, you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you have to choose up to about 5 of them. I've done 2 for you guys, so you can got 3 to do, or you can add more. And you can for each of them. We want you to assess what kind of this thing that you do. So you can do pastel or for whichever one you want to do, and then let's discuss it next week. I'm praying that you guys can enjoy produce. Okay. So let me just complete 3 other forces. I've done 2 for you, so you can complete 3 other forces. We have done 3, 2 in class. Complete the remaining 3. 3 forces or factors with explanation and assessment of the risk level. Okay, thank you. Okay. Good. So I'll put on a platform. There's also a folder that I created, and now I'll share the link. I share the link in the morning, but I'll share it again for your class. After I put the video, I made a video available for today. So this is what you're supposed to do. Please, it's easy for you to understand. You know, you can use this one for your own company and your where you're working. This one in the BMC. I use that. So, but this is the first one. So please, when you're doing, write your name. And then index number. I will show you how to submit it later, but have it handy. Make sure you do it. Okay. Thank you very much. Any question? We'll come to the end of today's session. You are tired. I know all of you are tired, but please, you don't have any questions. The ladies today, nobody has talked. Lucia, talk.
Yes, sir. When can we get these notes? The notes we just presented on.
The notes. Okay, I'll try and get an abridged version for, but this is coming from my book. That will be out next week or Friday. They said this Friday. The bookshop said they may have it on Friday or next week Monday. So you can pick up one. But I have an abridged version which I like slides that I can share with you. I'm just putting it together. But I'll
Okay, please.
the book more of
So when do we have to submit the assignments? Because I think some of us will need to go over the notes to be able to.
So I'll give you the video first for you to watch and stuff, and then I'll give you the assignment. I'll tell you when you submit it. Don't worry, but you start practicing on your own.
Okay,
The
sir.
video is actually very helpful because I talk to you alongside the notes that you are reading, so you can pause it, read, and then whilst you listen to it yourself. Do you understand me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
After the video, yesterday's group is on there, but your class, I spent more time explaining the fact. Yesterday, they were asking me so many questions because they were excited all over the place. But I think your class was listening more, so I spent more time explaining. So I think when I make a video ready by tomorrow morning, I'll put it on the class platform. Then I also told you last week that there's a website. Let me just open it again. Let me go through all the where you can get all the information so that everybody who missed last week's can be part of what exists. Okay. So when you go to YouTube, and you type Richard Watson Studios. It will open and show you the latest. So yesterday's class is it. Nobody has even watched it. I've shared it to the students. They say yes, sir, thank you. But they themselves have not watched it. Oh, why is it 27 minutes? Oh, it's more, should be more. Just 2 hours. I explain. So this is yesterday's home. So you shall go to different places that they are selling this Milo sachets with milk sachets. So the examples are different. They still ask different questions. Like what they are doing that they do speaking. So you can watch it yourself and stuff. Good. You also be there. Maybe what I have to differentiate is by writing the group number, group 1, group 2, group 3. I'll try and do that. Because this one I didn't write group 1. So I'll do group 4 and 5 or Tuesday group, or I'll use the day of the week. It's better for people to realize that this was Tuesday or something. So that is one. Then on the class platform, this morning, I actually just give me a second. I put a link there for when you go to class platform on WhatsApp and click the top there, you see that there are 2 things that have been pinned. One is a link to the class, the other is a link to the resource materials that we are using. So it's taking time to open. So let me just go straight to in Google Drive. If you click on it, you take it to Google Drive. The Google Drive folder, there's a folder in the Google. It will take you to my Google Drive that would open a folder. It will take you. The folder's name is this one, MBSA for strategy. So you have the syllabus, you have the capstone project, what you have done today. The exercise 1 is there and stuff. But now I've not done it. I've not tried attempted. These are the blank sheets. The capstone project is there. Then you have session 1. The video from group 1 is here. So let me just name this one group 1 so that people can know that this is or Monday group. Okay. So I'll do the Tuesday group and stuff. Then the videos will be there. So you can download the video from here or watch it on YouTube, whichever one you want. That's up to you. Okay. Thank you very much. Lucia, have I answered your question? And I've showed you where to get materials.
Yes, sir, you have.
Okay. So thank you very much. And it's also good. I've seen that my 27 people are here. So I've had a very interesting discussion. McAfee, good evening. I think Michael Fori and Co. John Inso. Today, the first person to come to class was Anthony Asimadi. Mr. Anthony, you're the first to come to class. Interesting. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you too. Hey, Wisdom, the picture, the car you are using for your picture is not it's a futuristic car. Wisdom. Okay, so thank you very, very much for today. Next week, what we'll be doing is about vision. How do you create a vision? How do you turn the vision to a strategy? So we pick it about, we develop visions and then move it to a strategy. Then later we'll be moving on to how to be able to assess, establish goals and KPIs. And how do you measure the KPIs through data? So these are things that we're doing incrementally. And for each of the days, our fundamental firm that will be using the GH Fresh so that we can build everything around it and understand what we are doing. I just don't want us to be working on so many different things. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Now, when Professor takes it back, you may not have the GH story being echoed, but maybe he'll be using other examples. But however, if you're able to still have access to the videos, you can always be watching because we always write one examination and we all set the questions together. So he'll bring his question, I'll bring my questions. So there's nothing wrong if you end up learning from both of us and then you know how to answer your own address the examination questions appropriately. But I'll do my best to teach as well as I can teach to make the videos available so I can always have access to them. So Lucia, don't be, your fears are well
Thank you, sir.
received. Thank you very, very much. And thank you too. Well as thank you too for the support from the industry. Bye-bye.
Bye, Prof.
Bye, bro.
Hey, Georgina, you're clapping for me. You didn't talk in my class, you're clapping for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.